Well, I bumped into one graduation speech from a NFL kicker, not the person I would necessarily expect to lean on for a speech. And here's what he said.
You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
That speech you just heard is from Harrison Butker. He is a kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is giving a speech at a private Catholic university, Benedictine. So I don't think he surprised anybody. He's a hardcore right-wing Catholic who believes in, marriage between men and women and proper gender roles. He believes in the conspiracy against all the things. But if I were sitting in that audience, even as a conservative, even as a white woman who doesn't believe in dinosaurs, right? I mean, you might be, as I said, like say you're just some old school creationist, right wing. I still want to be able to get a job and have a title and not think that my destiny is consigned to the house. I mean, was this speech too much? Was this speech too far?
For who? Right? We don't talk enough about white pathology and the trauma caused by whiteness. And here it was on display. Literally, my hope is that in these moments where we receive these gifts, where they say the quiet parts out loud, that people are processing critically and accepting the words that they are communicating. The legacy of so many mediocre white men in this country, in particular, a country that we built for free, but also throughout the world, is lying to themselves about the violent ways in which they enroll people into believing that their only purpose in life is to serve and support them in their mediocrity. None of that is new. Anyone who is a student of American history and the lies we tell, including about niggas like Christopher Columbus, should not be surprised that this is how they actually feel. And in this moment where, again, you got him, the failed history teacher turned governor of Florida, the coon turned lieutenant governor of North Carolina, where you have people who are unafraid to move past dog whistling to saying it with their whole chest. We need to believe them. This is the, what Aunt Maya Angelou said, when people believe you, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time, you should believe him and operate as such. And we should also check on his wife. I wonder if she has a system of care. Blink twice if you are right moments, because if he's going to say this in public, I wonder how he talks to you in private. And I blame the mamas of all of these broken boys who show up believing that it is their birthright to conquer both people and places that don't belong to them.
Wow. I responded to this, Hope, on Twitter, and people said I was being anti-Catholic. I didn't say nothing about Catholicism. I didn't even know this was some Catholic, but this just sounds like old school patriarchy 1.0 to me. What do you say? What do you feel? What do you experience, particularly as you enter the world now as a soon-to-be wife who don't want to stay in the crib? Like, how do you make sense of this?
I think that was the thing that hit me the most, is the fact that he spoke about what his wife's greatest accomplishments were versus allowing us to hear it from her point of view. And one of the things that I acknowledge about men that seek to belittle or that seek to make their wives' lives revolve around them are that you usually find that woman is so dynamic that he has to reduce her existence to being his footstool in order to feel important. And when I listened to that, all I heard was, I found a girl that one time at band camp. I found a girl at band camp that was willing.
And he was crying when he said it. Doesn't that make it passionate and believable?
That one time at band camp, right? Like it gave retainer, it gave like the whole little helmet thing in the moment. It gave like flashback to that moment. It really did. It gave flashback to that moment where poor little Isabella took pity on somebody and then got roped into a life that she didn't even understand was going to work her over. Okay. But it's one of those things where I also, the fact that no one in the audience, right? When we think about the way that, I'm assuming that this was an audience, majority of white folks.
Yep.
Who will get up and storm out because a famous celebrity is wearing fur, but refuse to storm out in their best interest if someone is belittling not only who you are as a person, but your gender. When we have conversations, and because the gender conversation was also a part of this speech. And when we have conversations, a lot of women will turn around and say, men are trying to police me. You trans women are men who are just trying to police women and tell women what to do. And here's an actual man who identifies as such that is telling you that your place is in between the refrigerator, the microwave, and the oven. And not a single word can be heard in objection. And all I ask and all I wonder when I see these things are, where is your advocacy for your gender rights when they're actually being attacked by the very people that want to convince you that I am the boogeyman in the corner?